Special thanks to Adobe for sponsoring today's video. If you need to edit photos, there are so many free image editors to choose from, and a lot of these photo editors have a ton of advanced features for AI editing, photo correction, design, and web-based workflows. Now, if you need to edit your photos and you're wondering what is the best free image editor, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you some of the best free image editors that Adobe has on their platform, and walk you through how to use each one of these tools. Now, I'm excited to partner with Adobe on this video to show you some of these free image editing tools that you can start using for your projects today. Let's check them out. In the free version of Adobe Lightroom, you have access to a lot of great image editing features, including different preset filters to choose from, an option to auto-adjust the light and color of your images, as well as tools to control specific parts of your images. Let me show you how this works. So inside Adobe Lightroom, to add your photos, you can easily click this Add Photos button. You can choose to drag and drop your files here or select them by clicking on this link. I'm going to choose to upload this image here, and we're going to make some tweaks to this image. So I'm going to click Open and choose to upload one photo. Then I'm going to click Finish. Now I can click on my image, and this opens Adobe Lightroom's photo editing options. We can first start at the top right under Quick Actions. One of the great features inside Adobe Lightroom is the ability to automatically make light adjustments to your image. You can click on this button here to auto-correct the light and color of your image. Once we click that, if we hop over to the Edit tab, you can see that it made some light adjustments to our photo. Brought up the exposure a little bit, brought down the highlights, and boosted the shadows. In addition to having it autocorrect the light and color, you also have different presets that you can choose from. So you can navigate to the presets option under Quick Actions and add different presets to your image. Some are stronger than others. I really like this lifestyle one. I think that gives a really nice look. And if you want to explore all the presets, you can go into the Presets tab on the right-hand side. Now, I do want to mention that if you want access to the premium presets, which there are several on Adobe Lightroom Online, you can sign up today for a free trial to gain access to all these different presets. I also did want to mention that they have a recommended tab where it uses AI to analyze your image and it'll recommend different presets for you, which is really nice. So be sure to check it out. Now, one thing that's really nice in Lightroom is that you have control over the different parts of your image. So let's say if you want to adjust the sky separate from maybe the trees or the water, you can do that inside the Quick Actions tab. If we scroll down here, you can see that we have a sky option. So if we wanted to emphasize the sky a lot, we can click and drag the slider to the right, and you can see that it adds in more color, so it boosts the saturation, and it adds more contrast between the clouds and the sky background. Or if you wanted to blur out the sky and not have a focal point of the image, you can easily click and drag the slider to the left, and it kind of blurs and makes everything blend into each other in the sky. You can do the same with the mountains and the vegetation, because Lightroom recognizes the different parts of your image for you. So if you wanted to bring out the mountains quite a bit, you can click and drag to the right. You can see that we've brought out the mountains a little bit. We can choose to bring out the vegetation. So it adds a little bit more crispness, detail. We can choose to kind of lessen the water since it's not really a main focus on the image. It's more really the background and the trees and the mountains that I really want to have pop out of the image. But you can use these tools to really add emphasis to the different parts. Now, for more advanced color options, you can navigate to the Edit tab. If we scroll down here, underneath color, you have some basic color temperature options and also saturation and vibrance. But under Color Mixer, this is where you can control the different color properties of a specific color. So for example, maybe if we wanted to make the yellows and the greens more orange reddish, you can easily click on yellow here and click and drag the hue slider to the left to give it more of an orange overcast. So you can see we're kind of changing the vegetation a little bit on the right-hand side to be more yellow-orangish. You can also do the same for saturation and luminance for each of the colors. For example, if we wanted to maybe boost the saturation in the sky, we can select the blue and maybe click and drag the saturation up. You can see we're just affecting the saturation of the sky. So these are some really nice tools to play with to adjust the colors. In addition to the color mixer, you also have color grading. So this affects the colors of the different tones in your image. For example, maybe if you wanted the shadows to be more blue, you can easily click and drag this slider here to the other side, to the blue side, and you can click and drag this middle slider to bring more blue into your image. As you can see, you don't really need that much, so only a little bit I would recommend. And maybe for the highlights, if you wanted to add more orange and yellow, you can easily click and drag this around to the yellow and orange and click and drag in the slider. but you can see you can really dial in a lot of different color options for your image. So this image is looking really nice. And if you're happy with the output, you can easily click on the share button at the top right and download it locally to your computer. And just to show you the before and after, this is what we had before, and this is how we edited it inside Adobe Lightroom. As you can see, using Adobe Lightroom, you can gain more control over the photo editing process, making it a great free image editing tool to keep in mind for your future projects. Now let's take a look at the next free image editing tool. Did you know that you can use Adobe Photoshop for free online? That's right, you can use this free image editing tool to make light layered edits to your images, including background removal, generative fill, generative expand, and much more. Let me show you how this works. To get started in Photoshop Web, we can upload a photo by clicking on this Upload File button. We can choose to upload from our computer. You can also choose to drag and drop files if you wish. I'm going to choose to upload this photo here of some friends traveling in a car, and we're going to make some light edits to this photo. So I'm going to click Open. As you can see, we have Photoshop Web open. We have different tools on the left-hand side, so you can easily use the size and position to rearrange the image. You have Generative, which has a lot of the AI tools that we'll be exploring, and you have the Adjustment tab. This is where you can make basic color correction to your images. But what I thought would be fun is to try out the new AI Assistant, which is currently in beta on Photoshop Web. To access this panel, you can easily go to the right-hand side and go to Show AI Assistant. This will use AI to analyze your image, and you can use prompts to actually make edits and get different suggestions on how to edit your image. The first thing I'm going to type in here is to see if the AI can auto-enhance my image for me. So I'm going to copy and paste in this prompt. I'm going to click Send. As you can see, the AI is working on a response, and it's going through the different actions related to the prompt that I gave it. So from here, as you can see, it gave me a recommendation to open up the Quick Actions panel, and it tells me that there's an Auto Enhance option to instantly boost lighting and color levels. So we can go over here, click Auto Color and Auto Contrast, and we now have these added to our image. As you can see, we have the layers panel here, so they're on top of each other. We can easily click the I button to hide and show the different effects. Alternatively, you can also add adjustment layers that you can control on top of your original layer. So what I'm going to do is actually delete these layers for now. I'm going to ask the AI to add a brightness and contrast layer as well as a hue and saturation layer. I also asked it to make some adjustments in that I want to be able to control the levels manually. So I'm going to send this off. As you can see, it adds the brightness and contrast layer as well as the hue and saturation layer. It gives me an update inside the AI Assistant telling me that both of those adjustment layers have been added to your image. If we click on this layers property here, you can see it made some fine-tuned adjustments. So the AI can give some recommendations on the levels, it can do some tasks for you, but from here you can take it a step further and really dial in your settings that you prefer. For hue and saturation, it boosted the saturation a little bit. But that's just one example on how you can use the AI Assistant. Another way that you can use the AI Assistant is to get recommendations for your photo. So next, I'm going to type in what type of effects can I add to this image to make it look cool. I'm going to send it off, and the AI will give me some recommendations based on Photoshop Web's features. As you can see, it gives me some recommendations here. I can add a vintage film grain look, maybe enhance the sky with a gradient filter, maybe a subtle lens flare boost for the summertime vibe. I'm going to go with the first option here. And when I click on that, you'll notice that it opens up the effects panel on the left-hand side, and it automatically sets up the grain effect for me. And from the right-hand side, I can choose the amount of grain I wish and the strength level, and I can click Done to add it to my image. Right now it's executing the active filter, and then it gives an update once it's done. Now the AI Assistant can also give you some tips for how to use Photoshop Web. Let's say if I didn't know how to undo that, and I wanted to say, hey, can you undo that? It'll give me some options to undo the different effects that I've added. It's really nice to use this AI Assistant to help you navigate Photoshop Web on not only the creative adjustments, but also how to use it throughout your photo editing process. So I'm going to click Undo to undo the film grain, but I am going to leave the hue and saturation and brightness on. I believe those add some nice adjustments to our image. But that's the AI Assistant. I'm going to close out this panel for now so that we have more room to work with our image here. One of the most common photo editing tasks that you may want to accomplish is to remove the background. And Photoshop Web makes it very easy. You'll notice at the bottom of the image, we have this option to remove the background. We can easily click on this, with the layer selected in the Layers panel, and Photoshop Web will use AI to automatically remove the background for us, saving us a lot of time. You can see it did a really nice job. If we zoom in on the hair, and doing this manually would take a long time. So it makes it fast and easy to automatically remove backgrounds from your image. In addition to the remove background, you can also add and replace different elements within your scene. For this, let's navigate to the Generative tab on the left-hand side here. Make sure that Generative Fill is selected. You'll notice that a brush icon appears. We can choose the brush size, and we can highlight different areas that we want to fill in. For example, let's remove this keyhole from the side of the car door here. I'm easily going to just select it. You can see I'm brushing in that area. And at the bottom, we have a text box that we can add a prompt in. And I'm just simply going to add in remove to remove and to fill in that area. So I'm going to click fill. As you can see, it fills it in nicely here. We have 3 options that we can choose from. We can cycle through them. They all do a great job here. So I'm just going to go with the first one. In addition to removing the background and using Generative Fill, there's also Generative Expand. For this, I'm actually going to add in the background. So I'm going to go back to my Layers panel and just delete this mask here. I want to resize this image to be more in a vertical layout for social media. So what I'm going to do is go to Generative Expand, and from the width and height, I'm going to actually change it to 1080 by 1920. And then what I can do is click and drag while holding down Shift on the corners of it to make it larger, and just kind of rearrange this to expand and recrop my image here. So I want to fill in the sky in the bottom of the car here. Once you have it arranged the way you like it, you have the menu down below. You don't necessarily need to type anything into it. I'm just going to click expand and let Photoshop Web do the work. As you can see, it fills in the top and the bottom. Now it did add in a tire at the bottom left here, and we can easily remove or make adjustments to this by adding an additional prompt down below. For example, I'm going to ask it to remove the tire, and then I'm going to click generate. And as you can see, it removed the tire. So that's what's really nice about using the Generative Expand and Generative Fill tools, is that you can keep prompting until you get an output that you like. Similar to Generative Fill, you have 3 different options here. I kind of like this one, kind of gives a nice shaded look underneath the car. But once you're happy with your image, you can easily download it to your computer by clicking on this download button at the top right. As you can see, the free version of Photoshop Web has a ton of great image editing features that allow you to make quick edits to your photos without needing a subscription. That makes this tool one of the best places to go to for basic image editing. Now, let's say if you've edited all your photos and are looking for a way to incorporate them into a finished design, Adobe Express is a great free tool to do this. Adobe Express comes with free design templates to choose from. Whether you need to create business cards, social media graphics, or any other type of branded content, you can do all of this directly inside Adobe Express. In addition to these free templates, you have access to basic photo editing tools to make minor tweaks to your photos before finalizing your design. Let's create a professional looking travel brochure inside Adobe Express using the images that we've been editing thus far and by choosing one of their free design templates. So inside Adobe Express, you can explore their templates by clicking on the Templates button at the left-hand side. You can use the filters on the left-hand side to filter down what you're looking for. So for example, if you wanted to filter the free templates, you can click the drop-down under Price and click Free. You can also search for types of templates. In our example, we're going to search for a brochure. As you can see, we have a lot of different brochure templates to choose from. So you can scroll down and select one that you like. I'm going to select this one here. I'm going to click Customize Template, and I can get designing right away. What's nice about Adobe Express is that you can easily edit the different options and change out the elements to your own images and your own media. So for example, if we wanted to replace this background image, we can easily click on it and click Replace. We can replace with Upload and choose to upload our image that we just finished editing inside Adobe Lightroom. So I'm going to click Open. As you can see, we easily updated that photo. We can also choose to add images separately as well by clicking on the Add Content button at the left-hand side. We can choose Media, we can click Upload from Device, and let's add in the image that we just finished editing in Photoshop earlier in this video. So I'm going to click and upload this. As you can see, it adds it into our canvas here, and we can easily click and drag and resize this by clicking and dragging on the corners. I'm going to put it inside this box here, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just to make sure it covers that boundary. And what you can do is easily crop this image by clicking and dragging on the edges. So you can see as I click and drag on the edges, I'm cropping the image. I'm just going to crop it right inside this border here, make it look like it's inside the border. on each side here. Now, one thing we have to do is put this image underneath the border. And to do that, you can access the layers. So I'm going to click on the layers to the right-hand side. So what I'm going to do is click and drag this all the way down to the bottom, just above our background image. And that way, these elements are over our image. Now, if there's elements that you didn't want in your final design, you can easily delete them by clicking on them and just clicking the delete button on your keyboard. For text, you can easily click the text and update it by double clicking to go inside the text box. You can select it and update it accordingly. You can change the color by selecting it and changing the color on the left-hand side. I'm going to choose white. Also going to size this down a little bit. You can also add different effects to your text. This is where you can add a drop shadow to make it pop from the background a little bit more. And let's say if you wanted to copy the style of this text layer to maybe this one over here, you can easily click on your edited text layer, click on this copy style button, and then easily click on the other text that you want to copy the style to. As you can see, we've copied the same exact style. That way it's cohesive. I'm going to update this text as well. Now we need to make some adjustments to this side of the image here. As you can see, it's still a little bit hard to read our text. What we can do is add a shape layer in between our background image and our other elements. That way these pop a little bit more. To do that, what I'm first going to do is actually click on the background image, and I want to lock this. So to lock an image, you can click on the ellipses and click lock. That way we don't accidentally drag the background layer. And then from here, what we can do is go to add content. I'm going to go to elements this time, and this is where you can go to add different elements, whether it's shapes, different backgrounds, or design assets. I'm going to go over on the top menu over to shapes. I'm just going to add a rectangle. As you can see, I added a rectangle. I can rearrange this, so I'm just going to click and drag the edges to cover, make sure it covers my image here. I can change the color, so I'm just going to change the fill color to black. And similar to the other images, I'm going to click and drag and rearrange the order of this. That way it's underneath everything other than the background image. And now what I can do is lower the opacity by clicking on the opacity and clicking and dragging down the opacity a little bit, maybe to 30 and 25, I think. That way we can see our text a little bit better. We can bring this text up too. I'm also going to lock this layer additionally by clicking on the ellipses and go to lock. And what we can do is click and drag over these layers here and move them all together. That way we can move this down and we can easily update this text as well. So that's how you can make some fine-tune adjustments on the right side. Another option that you can explore inside Adobe Express is by adding different elements as well. For example, maybe I want to update this camel icon. I can easily click on it, click delete, and inside add content, I can once again go into elements and go over to the icons section. This is a great area to explore a lot of free icons that you can add to your designs. In this case, I'm going to type in compass to add a compass icon. I'm going to scroll through the different options here. I'm going to find one that I like. This one looks pretty good. I'm going to click and drag it to my design. I'm going to click and drag the edge of it to resize it and just put it in the center here. I can change the color of it on the left-hand side. I'm going to choose black for now. Same with the text here. I'm just going to select both text layers and choose black for the color. So as you can see, within a matter of a few minutes, we were able to create a really nice looking brochure using our edited images. By using a combination of all these free image editing tools, we were able to put together a really nice finished design. Be sure to check out all these free photo editing tools linked in the video description below to use for your next project. Now, if you want access to the premium features within these tools, you can sign up today for a free trial. Thank you again to Adobe for sponsoring today's video. If you have any questions at all about these tools, feel free to leave your comments down below underneath this video. But for now, that does it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.